Hello, hello, guys. Good afternoon. Live in 11 hours. What? Why does it keep doing that? I scheduled it for 11 a.m., but yeah, fair enough. Well, I'm here anyway, despite it saying 11 hours from now. I'm here now. I don't know why it does that. I scheduled it for 11:05 a.m. my time. It seems like it's for some reason getting the timing wrong on all that. But that was frustrating one. Like, definitely a frustrating game here. Very, very frustrating. Should be just not the same team. Not the same team. And they're capable of this. That's the annoying part. You know what I mean? It's like, this team is capable of doing these types of performances where they just don't do it. They just don't do it. Someone was asking last week, like, why can't we be in a title charge or something? I was like, no, but this is why like we're going to fight to get into the top 4, and it's going to be a fight. I'm glad we didn't lose. I think this is a game we probably would have lost earlier. We would have lost last season, and all of that. But it's the same thing we've seen in the past. They can turn around in a game and just play like shit. Obviously, I'll look into, like, I'm gonna do my rewatch and tactics and thing on Monday and all of that kind of stuff. But honestly, watching the game, they just played bad. Not quite a few players. I mean, from the off, Benjamin Šeško, 0 out of 10 today. I'm not going to give him a hard time. Šeško was a 0 out of 10 today. I don't think he did anything right the whole game. He had a one-on-one from Mbumo in the first half that should have opened the game up, and he just took an awful touch with it. He had another few passes come in. Just an awful game from him, honestly. Really, really, really poor. But it happens. Like, that's what's gonna happen sometimes. And sometimes you're gonna have new players. They're gonna have a bad game. They're gonna have something like that go on, and sometimes you just have to deal with it and live with it. Dallo, predictably awful. That second goal from him, just standing there. I've seen him do that every fucking day for weeks, for months, for years. That is just, I cannot forgive him continuing to do that. You know what I mean? I can't forgive him for that kind of stuff. He's just depressingly frustrating. The performance was poor, but can happen in evolving team. Ship Dallo ASAP. Exactly. I agree. And a lot of it was just a lot of it's just effort, energy levels. You know what I mean? A lot of it's just effort and energy levels. I felt like today we were second to everything. Second to second balls. Oh, fuck off. It doesn't change much. Yeah, it doesn't change much. It can happen. A player can have a really bad game like Šeško, who's new. That can happen, and that's okay. We play through that. He's young. He's new. Whatever. Dallo's been here a long time. The stuff he gets away with constantly, the mistakes every single week from him, it's getting embarrassing. Like, it's just embarrassing, man. And Emram's got to sort that one out. We'll talk about that. He's got to sort that out, because that's the thing that no, someone was just whining that because I have a big following, I couldn't say Šeško had a bad game or something, and insulting me for saying that Šeško didn't have a great game. He didn't have a great game. Okay, accept that. But yeah, he's not catching hate. Šeško had a bad game. Šeško had a bad game. That's it. We can acknowledge that. He had a really, really bad game. It was really bad. His touches were loose, all of that. That's fine. It's okay. No, it was a 0. He didn't do anything right. It was really bad. But that's okay. Again, it's okay. A player can literally have an awful game, and it's not an insult on who they are. I mean, it was really, 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 really bad, Um, but it's again, it's okay. That can happen. He lost the ball more than 50% of his touches. That's bad. It's fine. It's fine. He didn't have nice layoffs. The nice little slap shot just wide to me is not a plus, a player missing, but I expect it. He's new. He's arrived. He's going to work his way he's going to keep going. He's going to keep going and he's going to get better, but he was really bad. He had that one-on-one, the touch that he took on that. It's just got to be better. It's just got to be better. There was a lot of passes where he just passed it straight out of bounds, things like that. It was just bad, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Just mediocre today. A lot of stuff was mediocre today. A lot of the touches were loose. A lot of the passes were loose. Just the levels of the performance were low. The levels of performance were just really low. And sometimes that's all there is. We gave up some big chances off of set pieces and all of that. And those were like unforgivably poorly defended. The chances we did give up, they were just awful. I mean, if we look at like the chart of things, like it wasn't a good game, but everything Forest did that was good came in this little stretch. And then that was it, and then that was it. And they got those 2 goals in that period of time. And that was it. We had 7 shots on target to 3. They scored 2 and 3 goals from just awful defending on those crosses. And they were targeting that all game. They were targeting all game. What they were trying to do was target the back post and hope that we would miss with Ahmad and Dalot. And they were awful. Defensively, it was really, really poor. So, hey, it is what it is, man. This is a game where I would say, yes, earlier in the season, last year, we lose it. A tough, difficult away game. They're all up for it. We're not really seeming up for it for whatever reason. I can't say why, but certainly the levels of energy and performance were really low. This is another thing. They shifted their defense to our right side, and Mbeumo and Ahmad were double marked. Correct. So, who was it? Elliot Anderson was man marking Mbeumo the whole game. He was man marking him the entire game and making sure that Mbeumo wasn't getting up against the wingback or the fullback so that Ahmad could go around him as a 2-on-1. And the problem is, because we have no left side, that is going to hurt. That is going to continue to hurt us, that we do not have a left side. Teams can switch to the right. They can defend hard on the right, and we will not be able to do anything down the left for very, very obvious reasons. And that is the biggest problem we have, and why I say that we certainly need a fullback more than almost anything else. I genuinely, we need a fullback. I mean, the left side was a disastrous with Dalot today. I mean, you look at the shape here and you can see how far back Dalot gets pinned. Otherwise, the shape was fine. It was mostly 4-4-2. We needed to get Dalot forward more, but he couldn't. There was a sequence in the first half. Yeah, we'll do Collins at the end. There was a sequence in the first half where Dalot doesn't run forward for the pass in behind, and then he doesn't run backwards either. Just frustrating, chaotic. Just frustrating, 27 minutes in, just very, very frustrating. Stuff like that is just like, give me a break, man. We've got to be able to do better. And Amarim was getting pissed at him again for that. Yeah. And hopefully that means he will not be starting next game. And he was yanked off early today, but it's tough. I mean, when you look at it, it's like, I think part of the problem we had is that the subs were just not, it's hard to trust the subs. You know what I mean? Like after last week, especially, I think that was part of what we dealt with this year. I need Dalot out of my team January 1, 2026. Vulnerability off crosses from the left is concern. Also, we lack bench options to influence the game. A point away is decent in the end, I guess. Yeah, agreed with both of those things. On the plus side, there were spells of possession that looked good. We had chances that almost resulted in a goal. 2 or 3 signings, and we can get there for sure. For sure, we need to improve. We a few more signings and things like that, and we will definitely be better in that respect. The vulnerability on the crosses on the left too. I want to rewatch this and show it. But so when Anderson, before the second goal, I think for a score, Anderson makes a mean switch of play, right? And the problem is, now I watched the replay a couple times. I need to watch it again. Dalot is randomly, awkwardly, and unnecessarily standing in Luke Shaw's lap instead of guarding the space out wide. So then they're able to build up from that. They're able to get deep, force the line back, pass it back out for the cross, which ends up going in. It's the first or second goal. I don't remember which one it was, to be quite honest. But you know, those are problems. Those are problems. You know, those are issues. Things like that, defending are just issues. You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff that messes you up, unfortunately. But yeah, as well, like, it is what it is. You know, the performance levels were just low. You can see with Lenny, it's up and down at the moment with him performance-wise. He's struggled at times against these types of teams. These types of teams who are like very aggressive, very physical, and all of that, and really get at you. Yoro has definitely struggled with that a bit, but you know, he's had great games and he's had some that are a bit difficult. Mazraoui was better when he came on to help a little bit in possession, to be more aggressive on the ball, to get forward a bit. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was just slow and poor all around. I felt like United were second to everything. I don't know if that was just me, but it felt like ball would come into the middle and they just be sort of sat behind the other player and just lose. I mean, at the same time, Bruno hits the post. Casemiro doesn't follow it up particularly well. That's one of those being slow things at the moment. Nobody was crashing that box on that shot by Bruno. When the ball comes careening off the post, we should be scoring. It's a good shot from Bruno. It's an crazy rebound. We should be in there. We should be scoring. There's that and the clearance. I mean, all else aside, at the end of the day, Bruno off the post, a goal line clearance, and somehow we did not capitalize on that rebound from Bruno off the post as well. All of those things could have been obviously another goal. Other big moment, Ahmad's cross into Casemiro. That was a handball. The other one that was really, really big in the first half, Mbumo's pass into Šeško. Crazy pass. Probably should be a one-on-one with the keeper. We don't get it. And that's one of those moments. You know what I mean? It's like, that's one of those moments. Those are all open play, by the way, Alfred. So I think you're not trying to remember. I think you got a little bit of a strong bias here, because every one of those was open play chances. Those are those situations that we're creating. You know what I mean? We have situations, and we still are not great at capitalizing them so much. I disagree on this on the buildup. The buildup was good. In fact, we didn't go short. It was better when we went short than when we went long today. We were losing all the second balls on long. The box presence from training was missing. Yeah, and that was what was really frustrating. We watched the video yesterday, and you've got everybody crash the box. Today I'm watching, and there's like nobody in the box. They're standing around outside the box. Look, on some of the younger players like Šeško, Lenny, you're expecting them to be getting better. You're expecting them to be have ups and downs and things like that. Those are players where you expect them to have off games and things. It's whatever. They're not, it happens. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just ride that out. And that's why we're not ready to be great, or anything like that. So it is what it is. Second half, we had a bad start, and that's what cost us at the end of the day. But, I think what happened a lot of it was just, I don't know, man, just slow, tempo is the word for it. Everything was just slow. Everything was just slow. The passing was slow. All that was just slow. The other thing was, I felt like there was definitely on a number of occasions where we just faced where we really, really, really rushed. We were still rushing. You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of moments, especially in the first 50 minutes, especially first half. I felt like we needed to put our foot on it, especially even when we were up 1-0. Instead of putting our foot on it, controlling, pushing them deep. I actually think that we were better and we're creating a lot more chances when we were pushing the defense deep and they were sitting in a deep block. It was when they were actually when we were rushing our passes, when we were coming out, that was poor. We were losing it there in a lot of occasions. You know what I mean? We were losing it there in a lot of occasions. But when we actually forced them deep, we were actually better. So I wanted to see us in the first half, especially when we had a lead, sit on it a bit more, because we were really, 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 really rushing in that play, trying to race the ball forward too much, forcing transitions instead of generating them, and making a lot of one-touch passes. And to be fair, from the front line, the control wasn't there. You know what I mean? The control just wasn't there, today. That's really it. They can play better, they can play better than that. Intensity low, control low, everything like that. And it is what it is, man. It's a tough game. It's a tough game. When we were down 2-1, I was like, feels a lot like Brentford. But, the fact that we pulled it back to 2-2 and probably should have won with the chances, and fact remains, we had the better chances of the game. True or not, right? We did have the better chances of the game. It was a bad performance, but we still could have pulled the win out, because we did have the better chances of the game. We had the goals, we had the cross, we had the Šeško opportunity, we had the post from Bruno, the rebound. We had the clearance. We had the better chances to win this game than Forest did, and we just didn't do it. Yeah, that's the truth. We did have more chances to win this game than they did in a tough. That doesn't mean a draw wouldn't be fair. To be fair, I think a draw is probably a fair result considering the performance was not great, and I'm not happy with the performance. But I think that we had the better chances to win today. I can't think of any other chances for Forest, to be fair. They didn't really create any other chances. They had a few. They had only 3 shots on target, so they didn't really have much else going on. What's going on here? Yeah, they had higher XG. Yeah, I mean, let's look at that for a second. Their goal was 0.78. Here, I'll show you. I'll pull it up on the screen, right? Their goal they scored from was 0.78. These are not particularly high, but you see how when you score a goal on a 0.78, that certainly raises the bar here. Our goals were 0.12 and 0.03. Then we had 0.09, 0.38, 0.06, 0.03. So they had a huge, one of their goals was massive. It was higher than a penalty. Yeah. Higher than a penalty, the tap in there. So, that's the bulk of their XG for that. But I'm also talking about I think it's the shot from Casemiro here is a 0.06. He has the goal gaping. That's kind of a crazy That's kind of a crazy one to me. Like, that's kind of a crazy one that it's 0.06. Casemiro has the goal wide open and misses. That's better than a 0.06 goal. I mean, there's no doubt about that it is. But hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We didn't do enough. We didn't win. We didn't take our chances in that we should. And again, the performance was, I think, mediocre. I think the performance was just mediocre. Definitely just mediocre. You know, very much so. Very mediocre. But again, should have had a one-on-one in the first half. A lot of things. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't really care for open play, set pieces. Arsenal are winning the league on set pieces, by the way. They're 17th in the league in open play. Who cares? Nobody's screaming about their tactics right now not being good enough in their coach because they're creating chances from set pieces. I still think to a degree it's unsustainable, but yeah, those are chances. They are chances. Other thing I would definitely say is Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson was amazing. He was really, really good. As much as Baleba failed the test last week, Elliot Anderson passed with flying colors today. He was so good. He was so good. I still don't think he's a 6, by the way. I'm a fan of Šeško, but it's a decent chance we see Cunha up top with Mount back in a team against Spurs. Yeah, matchup depending. You know, I think it's good to go back and forth with Šeško. Give him time to adapt, things like that. Like I said, he's allowed to have a bad game. He's young. He's been here. It's like his 5th start. I don't care if he has a bad game. I'm not going to kill him for it. I'm going to say today he played like shit. Tomorrow, I think he's going to play a lot better, or next week or whatever, you know? And the same goes for Lenny. But there's other guys that I have a lot less forgiveness for. Starts with a D, ends with an aloe. Not a good performance, but we don't come back to draw this last season. Yeah, it is improvement. I agree on that front. It is improvement. But yeah, Anderson was the best player on the pitch for sure. No doubt about that. Best player on the pitch for both sides. He was crazy good. I'm trying to see if I can find like a duels 1 stat, because that's the part I really wanted to see in terms of like everything. Like Anderson recovered the ball 14 times. It was just really, really good. But we were just off it duel wise. Like in Mbumo today, maybe my standards have raised Irish, but I don't think Šeško was 5 times better than much of anything. Because but it is what it is. It's fine. You know, it's fine. But look, like these are the things, right? Like Mbumo 4 dribbles, only 1 success today. Like this is where I say we were just not great. No successful dribbles. Look at the possessions lost between Ahmad and Mbumo on that side. You know. Cunha, a bit better. He was a little crazy with his shooting, but he was one of the better controllers today. This is what I say about Šeško. Like, it just wasn't good. The pass accuracy was poor. The touches were poor. The possession loss was poor. No successful dribbles. The shooting was poor. It's whatever. It happens. I don't want to talk about this man. 0 out of 2 accurate crosses. 0 out of 2 dribbles. 3 poor touches. 2 out of 5 on duels, 1 out of 3 on duels. Just not good. Just not good. The dueling today I felt was the biggest flaw in the game. I thought Bruno was okay today. Not bad, not great. But you see how if you look at every single player, you'll note that we lost the majority of our duels today. And sometimes football is that simple. It's 50-50 with Casemiro, 50-50, but he also got dribble pass a few times. But he made 3 tackles. 0 tackles from Bruno today. 1 out of 3. Ground duels 3 out of 3. So it was better in the air from Lenny, but only 1 out of 3 on the tackles. Yeah, I mean, just one of those days. Like, we just 1 out of 6 for Mbumo. 2 out of 7. We're just losing. We just lost our duels today. Sometimes football is that simple. That's where I say we just didn't play well enough. We just lost our duels, you know? We just lost our duels. And I think that when it looks like, yeah, like when it looks bad, that's like, that's usually what it is. You're just losing your duels, you know? Yeah. Still, it'll be a frustrating one to sit on. It'll be a frustrating one to go, you know, like, man. 92 seconds, we conceded 2 goals. And that's what cost us the 3 points, you know? 92 seconds. 92 seconds was the difference between winning and not, you know? It's like it happens. We fucked it. It is what it is. I'm frustrated, but this is one I feel I can move on from. You know what I mean? I'm frustrated, but it's not like Brentford. It's more like Arsenal, even though we lost the Arsenal. Well, no, Arsenal is different. I just don't know. Like, do you guys feel the same? Like, I don't know how to put it exactly, but it's like I'm just frustrated a little bit. I'm just frustrated a little bit. I can move on from this one. I don't think this is like a big deal. I don't think it's a game to sit on too much and overthink. We just got done a little bit one-on-one, you know? We just got done a bit. It's one of those ones that happens. It's obviously like, all right, next week, just do better. And it's fine. But, you know, 10 points out of our last 12. Emram said we lacked energy and aggression compared to the last week, but he's happy with the mentality that we didn't fold and came back for a draw. And I agree with that. That's how I would read it as well. Our aggression was poor. Our energy was poor, you know, but we did come back from being down that 2-1 and get the draw and created some good chances to win. So yeah, that's how I feel. I look at it and I'm just like, you know, that's how I see it too. Make sure if you're here, you like the video. Again, almost 500 people, but need some more likes and all that. But yeah, the intensity was there. And when I look at it tomorrow and I do a rewatch and go through it tactically, I'm sure I'll find kind of the same thing, is that it was just like, just one of those days, you know what I mean? Just one of those days where you just look and you go, yeah, we were second best to everything, slow to everything. Not there, because it was so close on so many occasions. The Ahmad second chance, I'm just watching the replay, like should be a goal. We're so close to getting a goal there, you know, but just can't get it over the line. But hey, man, it is what it is. Sometimes Emram says we would have lost the game last season. And I agree with that. You know, I agree with that. Emram says, I'm just looking for some quotes. We're disappointed to go home in 1 point. Oh, that's Ahmad. Disappointed to go home with 1 point. We believe in the manager and the system. We're trying our best. We believe in the manager like he believes with us. Yeah. Distance covered. I'm very, you know, here's one stat to back up this. Okay. Forest ran 109.87. We ran 107.94. I'm not saying you have to cover more distance, but I think you could see that they did. I know the gap isn't huge there, but you could see that I feel they worked harder than we did. We had 5 minutes where we disconnected and conceded 2 goals. We dropped the energy level, the aggression. You can feel it. But we scored and tried to win the game. Let's work to win next week. And that's how I feel. Look, it's just, I don't know what the reason is why some games are just still like this, you know, where we just don't turn up. We just don't turn up. We just don't turn up at the same level. You just Just have to get through that. That's that consistency. But I also think this is where we struggle with not having the depth. It's not because we have over 50% possession, nice, because you have to think about game state. The reason we have less possession in games that we win is because when we win, when we score first, we play more defensively for the most part. It's not about being a possession team. We had more possession in the first half, and we went up a goal, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look at the first half. Look, like, it's not that. It's something that forms a wrong conclusion, right? Like, we had 56% of the possession and we were up 1-0. It's not because we had more possession that we don't win. Usually when we win, we end up defending more, and that's why we don't have possession. It's the same against Liverpool, same against Brighton, same against Sunderland. We get a lead, we back off a bit, we settle in a bit, and that's all that goes on, you know? It's nothing to do with having more possession. It's not like we're getting countered. We didn't have energy. No, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. I'm telling you, that's one of those things where if you watch and look at the game state, when we're winning, we let teams have the ball a lot, especially the last 30, 40 minutes, and that throws the possession stats off entirely. Because outside of Liverpool, we were more on the ball against Brighton and against Sunderland than they were until about 60 minutes. And then the possession stats flip. Again, it's one of those things where you can reach the wrong conclusion on that front. It's all about game state. On pace for 65 points right now with some massive letdowns and a tough fixture list. Yeah, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Obviously, next few weeks matter. Need to get a win against Spurs. Go into the international break ready for the busy period after that. Okay. Let's get some callers going because I don't want to dwell on this one too long. Let's get some callers going. I think we'll see some changes next week. Let's get some callers going. And then we really do need signings because I definitely feel that one of the biggest issues is he just doesn't feel like we've got game changers to come in off of the bench when we're winning. When we're losing, he can put on Ugarte and sub some players. Otherwise, it's like, you must think like probably Mount injury-wise. Maybe he didn't feel like he could risk him, all of that. We ranked first in the league for hitting the post. Yeah. All right, Shahan, let's get you on right away here. How you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you, Jane?
Good. A little frustrated today, but nothing too crazy at the moment.
Yeah, I think I'm a tad frustrated with the performance in the second half because I think in the first half we had a plan. We were trying to frustrate them a lot, right? I think our plan in the first half was spot on. I didn't
Yep.
see Forest having anything in that first half.
Yeah.
But there's this issue which keeps I mean it's there for the last, I don't know, even since Ollie. There are these We start the second half really poor. And
Yeah.
we can sit here and talk about that, oh, we were, not our energy levels were not good today. We were down with second balls, but that should not be happening in the first 3 minutes of a half starting.
Oh, for sure.
That
100%.
should not be like, I can understand if, oh, we concede like two goals in like the 70th minute. That's fine.
Yep.
Okay, the energy levels are dropping down. That's fine. But in the second half, like with a lead, I think our players need to be switched on. I think they're taking leads for
Yeah.
granted, and that has been
Yep.
going on for a long, long time. Where,
Yep.
oh, we are in the lead, we are in the ascendancy, and it's Forest. I think United underestimated Forest a lot in this game today,
Yeah.
because of how they played, and they turned up in the second half. The other thing I want to talk about is how we still need to improve against mid and low blocks. We're still not there. Like even the defeats, I think we played when teams give us space, we are good enough to exploit them, right? But
Yep.
when they are really like holding their ground defensively, that's where we struggle. And like I agree, like they locked up Mbumo today. Mbumo was completely locked up, and then we
Yes.
don't have anything on the left to negate that,
No, we
right?
don't. We don't.
We
And that
don't
is
have
to me,
anything on the left. Yeah.
it's a problem that we're not going to solve until we get better players in some positions because
Yeah,
it's
because
like,
Amorim playing Dalot there is like he himself is making a mockery of his own formation and of his own
yeah,
system by
for
playing
sure.
Dalot there. Because in an Amorim system, you can't have a player like Dalot playing in that wing back position because
Yeah.
attackingly he just does not have it. And I'm glad that he saw it and he hooked him out early, because there's no
Yeah.
outlet from there. There's nothing from there.
No,
So
and they had Elliot Anderson on Mbumo the whole game. That was the plan.
exactly.
Double up on that left side, just like Brighton started to do as well.
Yeah.
Teams are recognizing it, and they will. And for
Hmm.
now, we don't have much of an answer because we just don't have much to offer on that left side to
Yeah.
counterbalance it.
Yeah. And another worry was also from the bench. Like,
Mhm.
attackingly, there were no substitutions attacking wise. And I don't know what's going on with Zirkzee and Amarim, because that's a big concern for me. Uh, I think Seshko was really poor. And there were a lot of instances where Seshko could have, like, played and stopped the ball well, controlled
Yeah.
it, come into midfield, drag the center backs out,
Yes.
allow
Yes. Which
Cunha
would
and
have helped.
Mbumo
Yeah.
to run through them. And Seshko couldn't do that. And this was a game made for Zirkzee, I felt, especially
Yeah.
after like the 65th minute. But he decided to play Cunha and Seshko for the whole 90. And it was pretty evident that they were knackered. I feel one reason why maybe he would have done that is because the performance against Brighton. Because
Yeah.
I don't think he trusts these players. Are not like the players who are on the fringe. I don't think they're ready enough to come and play a
I mean,
part.
we're just gaining trust in the starting 11, and even they're letting us down sometimes. So it's like it's
Exactly. Because
hard. I
even
don't trust a lot of
Mazraoui,
guys.
looked a lot shaky. That instance where he tries to dribble it out, we
Yeah,
nearly
yeah,
give Forest the win over there. That's a
yeah,
lucky double deflection that they get over there, because that could have been 3-2. So yeah, I think a lot of places where we need to improve. But then on the flip side, also last I don't know 2 years we haven't won here, and then
yeah.
it's just minor
And
baby
lost.
steps.
Yes, we've been
Lost.
losing.
We've
So
lost.
yeah,
So it's just another point, and I agree with Amarim saying that last season this team wouldn't have won. So the
yeah,
ability to grind out, and also just one thing with Ahmad, we say that, oh, we need someone like Ahmad, because we also need someone not only to replace Ahmad, but we need someone to get in when Ahmad's not having the best of games. I know he scored a
correct,
really
correct.
good game. Sorry, he
Yeah,
scored a
and could
really
have
good
got the
goal today,
second one
but
even
I
as
don't think
well.
he
But
was
yeah,
really good today.
no,
There
no, he
was,
was up until the goal. He was quite poor, and that
yeah, there were a
yeah,
couple of instances where he could have played Euro in. Euro was through.
yeah,
I think it is the 72nd minute. I know you'll go through your
yeah,
watch along again, but there were a lot of instances where Ahmad could have kept it simple. Even the shot he takes, which goes wayward, he could have. I think as a wing back, he needs to little bit keep it simple. He
yep,
needs to understand that he's a wing back and he's not a winger. And I feel more than also Ahmad going in for the AFCON, we need cover so that we can get someone on if Ahmad's having a bad game. Because in this
yeah.
system, we don't have wing backs. Like, if our wing backs are struggling in a game, we don't have wing backs to get
I
on to
know, and
change
and
the game.
that's why I think during the season it's the most it's almost the biggest priority because it's like we don't have anything on the left, and if they're having a bad game, we don't have a choice. Like you
Yeah,
can make changes in the midfield, you can make changes in the tens. We do not have a choice in the wide areas. We have
yeah.
nothing coming from the wide areas.
That is
You
actually
know,
quite concerning, because even until I don't know, like, even Dorgo came on, so I don't know what's going on with Dorgo. So maybe with Lissandro coming back, and I don't know how much time he would take, but maybe Lissandro slotting in more as a left center back and putting Shaw further forward, because maybe he has that instinct, just to try things until
something,
we
yeah,
get to Jan, because a wing back is a
yeah,
big concern. So I
for
don't
sure.
see many options like going
Well,
there.
maybe Dorgu can get going a bit more because obviously, in terms of his athleticism, his footedness, he helped a bit
Yeah,
when he came on, getting a few chances, getting a few like corners and opportunities for us. So
yeah,
hopefully he can add a bit more. All right, my
that is the
friend.
hope. That is the hope. Okay.
Thank you.
Take care, James. See
See
you
you,
in the
buddy.
next one.
Parth, are you? I can't see your camera if you're there. Let me put you
You're
on. How
driving.
you doing?
Good. How are you? Sorry. I can't turn my camera on. I'm
No, no, it's
actually in a
okay.
car.
It's
So
okay.
yeah.
I recognize you, so it's fine for this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Thanks. Not bad. How are you, James?
Just a little frustrated, but not too crazy.
Yeah.
Nothing too
Same.
much this
Just
week.
before I say anything, can other people hear what we are saying? Because I could just hear you when the previous caller was talking. He
You
started
should
like
be
I
able to
don't know,
hear.
just checking. Okay.
I'm
Fair
pretty
enough.
sure everybody can hear you because yeah, everybody can.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay. Fair
yeah,
enough.
yeah.
Okay. So that's just fine. Okay. No, extremely frustrated. I'll take the point. This is a very competitive league. Point is a point.
Yep.
I agree with you when you said earlier that a lot of players had a poor performance. I think what I
Yeah.
noticed even with Cunha is because Dallo is ass. There's no other word for him. Uh, what happens is he just tries to do too much
Yeah.
because he knows he's going to
I
get like
hear
5
that, and
opportunities
some
in
people
90
pointed
minutes,
that out
and he's
as
going to
well.
try to
Like,
shoot.
yeah, some people pointed that out as well during the game, and I hear that where it's like he's always having to try to take it, dribble it in, like take on a bunch of players to do something on his own because he's not going to
Yeah,
get played in from the left. He's not going to have someone overlapping him on the left. He's not going to have those options.
exactly.
And it also means the defense can collapse on him. I think that's a big part of his
Yeah,
struggle. Like I'll go back to a different player that some people might not like this comparison, but when Rashford, even in his good
Rash
years,
and Shaw.
when you had Shaw over there playing with him at the wing back where he had that opportunity, it was a lot better. When
Yeah,
Shaw would get injured and things like that, and he was left isolated, he struggled a lot more in most of the time. And it was one of the bigger differences between his good years and bad years is who's on the left, who's helping, because that relationship between the forward and the wing back is huge. I mean, we see it with Mbumo.
absolutely.
Most games, he's so much better when Ahmad is there and gets a lot more out of it with Ahmad there.
No, absolutely. And I think we should have won that game. Casemiro missed like almost an open goal there.
Yeah.
You need to capitalize on these chances, especially when you're playing away from home.
Yeah.
It does matter. These points
Yep.
do matter, and especially given like we are playing Spurs and Palace, I think the next two, that is a very difficult run. You know what the
Tough
worst
teams.
part of today was? It was like when they conceded those two goals, right?
Yep.
When like at the start of the second half, you can't switch off at
Yes.
that time.
Yes.
Like that is that is when all these so-called relegation battlers and poor teams can get at us, is when we switch off.
Yep.
Honestly, and like
Yep.
there's no way you should be able to concede two goals in like what, 2 minutes
92
or a
seconds.
minute and a
92
half.
seconds.
Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
oh yeah. So that's, and like right at the start of the second half, you cannot switch off. That is
Yeah.
like, going back like 10 steps with the previous ass of a
Yep.
manager that we had. And by the
Yep.
way, I just realized this, Dallo was only good again under Ten Hag. So that tells me a lot about Diogo Dallo than anyone. Fucking Rangnick did not pick him.
That's true. That is true. Yeah,
Yeah.
look, if I have one, like I can see a lot of things in progress. I have frustration. If I have one thing I gotta have on Amarim right now is he's gotta sort this Dallo thing out because it's
But honestly,
not
whom
like it's
will he
the
pick?
only reason we were poor or something like that, and it's not like
No,
everything. But man,
we've
he's
been
been
carrying
bad.
such players since a while, to be
Yeah.
honest. But it happens. Like it's the Premier League. You can't have every player putting 10 out of 10 every game. It's not
Yeah.
practical. But the thing is, and the worst thing is the chances that we concede are like clear-cut goals. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay to concede chances, and we are scoring blinders here. Like absolutely. But the chances, like we concede few chances, but the problem
Few
is
chances, but really big. Yeah.
exactly. So it's
Yeah.
that's the problem, and that was the
It's
case
usually
against
like
Brighton
some
too.
catastrophic like
Exactly.
error thing type of
With
happening. We
Dallo
got to sort
being
that
out
out.
of 80% of them,
Yeah.
and I understand him protecting Dorgu. He's young,
Yeah.
but we need to find a solution. If we can't get a midfielder, let's say in January, which seems difficult,
It's gonna be
probably
tough. Yeah.
address that.
Can Conor
Get
Gallagher
back up
play
left,
left wing
yeah.
back? Have we considered that might be why he's got a crazy engine? Maybe he'll put him out at left wing back, and that's why we're interested in Gallagher.
Sorry, whom are you talking about?
Conor Gallagher. Maybe that's why there's some interest in him, so we can put him at wing back.
Okay.
He's got energy, so maybe.
Okay, maybe.
But yeah, I agree.
but
I agree with you. Wide player.
we
We
need
gotta
to
get a
sign
wide.
Elliot
player.
Anderson though. That guy was
Yeah,
amazing
Elliot
today.
Anderson was really
Like
good.
last two games, we came up against two potential, midfielders, Baleba and Anderson, and in the next two we are coming against Adam Wharton. So I think we need Anderson. Like he's the only midfielder
Anderson's
right
really
now I
good.
see. Like about 80 million who could justify like Mbumo
Yeah.
types. He justifies his price tag.
Yeah,
Something like
I
that.
would agree.
But
Yeah.
frustrated, worried about like the more than anything the worst thing that I felt was that mentality to concede
Yep.
goals right at the start of the half. Like
Agreed.
that's not good. Yeah.
For
Thanks,
sure.
James.
All right, my friend. Thank you. We'll see you later. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah. Bye.
All right. Unmesh, I'll look at you in here now. How you doing? Good to see you again.
How you doing? I'm doing good. How about you?
All right. All right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Enjoying
It's
the
a-
discussion. It's common things. I'm starting to feel a little more like, okay, as we keep going.
It really is, and yeah, I remember something you said at the start of last week, and you said that we fans show up when we lose and when we draw and not when we win. But it's I think it's equally difficult and frustrating as well to accept a draw here, because
Yep.
I think that there were small signs that this is still a work in progress, as it should be this year, to be clear. But it's not going to be easy. We won't win every single week. We won't get every point we deserve, which is why we needed the wins we got before. So, we can preserve our sanity and our points tally come the end of the year. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit too strong-minded, but I don't treat this as a crash down to earth. I treat this just as a crash down to reality. Is all. This is what the team is capable of, and lack of depth is going to keep us from maintaining a top 6 position in this league, because I think that the starting 11 can get us a top 6 finish. I don't think that having enough pieces to work with is going to be the limitation to get there.
Yeah, well, we're like right now, it's with everything that's happened, on pace for 65 points. That probably gets you Europe. It's close to top 5. Some seasons it is, some season it isn't. So, things like, do you have the depth to win a couple of the games that you usually maybe wouldn't, like this one, to push you over the edge, are often going to be the difference makers there. When that's really, the goal is Europa. I think we're on pace for that. I think we will get that. I think we'll still pull it off with Champions League, but something like if it's top 5 mainly. But, the depth, I think, matters certainly. If we can add somebody in January, to somebody that can help, just more options to bring off the bench, more game changers. Maybe as well, the opportunity during AFCON at least gives us a chance where we see some young players. Maybe somebody provides. We've seen it before where like this is how so many players have broken through. There's an opportunity, they take their opportunity, and suddenly we've got another option we didn't know we had. That just grabs it with 2 hands. And we need something like that, I feel like, to take another step this season over where this is. Like, I think we're in that 6-7 range, but we could be in the 5, it's not much to go a step up, because most of the teams aren't that good this year. It's not much between 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. There's not much there.
Absolutely. And, as you mentioned, right, during AFCON, we're going to have an opportunity to bring out a lot of academy kids and give them first team playing chances that they normally never would have. And, I look at someone like Diego Leon that is shining so brightly in the academy.
Sure.
Obviously, Amram is not going to push him into the first team because he needs to settle down. A kid from Paraguay is going to have a hard time coming to England and settling down. But I kind of admire Amram for that he's not going to push youngsters, even youngsters like Seta Lomans. He's not going to push them into the first team unless he believes that they can handle the pressure.
Yeah.
But ultimately, needs must. If as Sir Jim Ratcliffe has stated, he's not going to fire Amram just yet. But I do feel that getting to Europa League at minimum has to be the requirement.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it is. That's definitely the expectation, for sure.
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
That's what they gave him as a target this year, and they feel they have the team to put that together. But I do think that certainly January, something like I've said before, and like some other people said, I would still say a wide player is the most important thing we need to add, because we just need some more attacking threats to put on in different positions. We just have to. We just don't have any. I look and I go, people were asking me during the game, like, where's the subs? And I'm going, well, who? Like, why? Like, I can't make a clear argument necessarily for most players besides Dorgu for Dalo, which he did early. I was like, you take Xerxes on for Šeško. Šeško's having a bad game. Fine. Does that mean Xerxes going to score? No, he's not like been that much of an attacking threat. Mount, maybe there's an injury thing there, but who are you taking off for him? Cunha, who's trying to bring some pace into the game. Are you bringing Šeško off? You're losing an aerial threat. We were getting good at putting the ball into the box and set pieces. That's where we scored a couple goals and created more chances. So it's hard. It's hard to know like what was the right choice. If it was one option, you would have said a wide player to come on and like that would have been my first choice. Get like a wing, like if Semenyo's sitting on the bench, I'm putting him on for Dallo and saying, cool, we'll get another attacker at 2-1 and we'll go for this game, but we just don't have it. Even a striker, even, someone like Welbeck, if was in the team, you'd be throwing him on at 60 minutes for Šeško in a game like today. And I think you could get something.
Exactly. Yeah. And, it's, this is also one of those games that really show that brings us back to reality, knowing that okay, the dreams of United going to win the league is clearly not going to happen. But in a game where we can't grab a hold of the ball in duels, if Casemiro is 50% on duels, if the entire team is 50% on duels, then not only does that show you that statistically we were poor, the eye test shows that as well. And Forest were just a bit more physically dominant than what we were. I was saying last weekend, I was saying last weekend that Šeško is learning the aerial side of his game, but when your opposing center back is just as tall as you and he's stronger and bulkier, it's kind of difficult to have a second ball strategy.
The technique was letting him down in that sense today because he didn't have as much physical advantage, and it is what it is. He's going to go through those games, and that's the part of it too. Players like him, they're going to get better. They're just going to get better as the season goes on, and that will raise our levels too. He's going to have some of these games, and he's going to be better in the next one, and that's fine.
Absolutely. And I mean, as much as I love Højlund, even though I know his performances were very, very poor for us, Šeško is trying. That there's clear evidence that he's
definitely
trying.
He can do it. Wasn't a good game. Yeah. Sometimes just a bad performance. It's not a bad player. Like, exactly. We saw enough with some other people. With Šeško, it's just a bad game. It is what it is.
Exactly. And just to end on a positive, I think I really appreciate the positive mentality that we had. I know it's heartbreaking conceding 2 goals in 92 seconds right at the start of the second half. It's heartbreaking, and it sucks the energy out of the team. But I felt that we ran a lot more. Sure, Forest ran a lot more than us, but even then, I think last season we would have collapsed under the weight of those 2 goals. We would have been nowhere. We would have been 4-1. We would have had a 4-1 loss at this point, rather than having a 2-2 draw. So, sure, having a good mentality doesn't fix the glaring midfield holes that lets Callum Hudson-Odoi just run to the goal. But at least something was good. At least there is some progress, even if that doesn't produce 3 points. There is clear progress. So it's more of a journey rather than the destination type of deal.
For sure. Well, I agree. Thank you very much, buddy. I'll see you again later. Okay. Have a good one. Yeah, I definitely agree with that point on progress, because it's about the highs getting higher and the lows not being as low, and that's progress as well. And when you're looking at things. All right, Hamza, how you doing?
Hey, you can hear me?
Yes.
How are you doing? It's a shame that every time I come on the lives, it's not when we win.
I think it's a coincidence sometimes that happens. I'm not blaming you.
I have very different takes and points, to be honest. The first thing is, I know we scored our goal, but from the beginning, I really hope we don't extend Casemiro. I understand, but we win 3 games and he's been looking really good, and then you think long term, okay, it's a 34-year-old Casemiro, and we signed up for this, Anyways,
you can. I get what you're saying, because you can see what he lacks in games like this. You can see more like the energy levels, the legs. You need more than that in a lot of games.
It's like I think he suits the position. That's not the problem. I think he does.
Yep.
But it's just the lack of dynamism that he has. So like whenever Casemiro takes a touch, I'm like, I'm getting scared, because if he takes more than 2 touches, like, the player is caught up with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So he has to like release it. So I'm like, that can't be sustainable for me in the future. You know what I mean? Even if we have to, like, even if he's good in the box, and I don't know, just for me, like, I think.
I get that. I get that.
Yeah. Secondly, I mean, the midfield as well. I think Bruno was good, to be honest, but I think they wanted it more than us. And there was like a couple of occasions where, like, we were just getting ran through in the midfield on their counters, like when Hudson-Odoi like could have made it 3. You know what I mean? 2 times. and it's just I think we're bypassing with the midfield and like we're carrying them. So that's why in the future I'm not like committing to anything. I'm not saying okay, Casemiro or Bruno, you guys
Yeah.
are you guys are staying because going for second balls. Like imagine you have like a Caicedo or like a Baleba or you have
Yeah,
like a
they lost
Anderson.
a lot of the combative battles today with those two, and it's
Yeah,
tough.
like
Yeah.
if we can turn that into a strong point of ours with upgrades like in Bumo and Cunha or like of that same caliber, like it's a
Yep.
completely different team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, Dalot is it's something all managers do. It's not only Ruben. It's like
I
when you
know.
win with a certain lineup, like no matter how bad that player was, like Ten Hag did it all the time. You're
Because
gonna
he's
stick
been
with him.
bad every one of these wins, and he's
He's
still
horrible. Like,
playing. And
I don't know
and
what
I
he's
and it
doing.
is. It's like you get it. It's like, all right, we're gonna keep going with what's working, but
I get,
he's
yeah.
been bad every game.
He's been. I don't know what he's doing because it's not like he's overlapping, so providing Cunha the option. He's just standing behind him, and he just. I don't know. He's like cutting in, passing it to the midfielder, and I mean, look, Dorgu. I think Dorgu should start. Like everyone
Yeah.
forgets that preseason where Dorgu looked like our best player in the whole preseason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in
I
those
know.
Europa League games where
That's why I still have
I
hope
think
for him. But yeah.
like I have hope for him, but I think like I guess United as well. Not only Dorgu, we worked much better when we have space. So like we played like the best games we played were like Arsenal. We played very well against
Yep.
obviously Liverpool had space, Chelsea had space. I'd even say Brighton. They let us have space, and we have that. But so I mean, I think we have to translate to the Brentford etc. where we don't have that space, where Casemiro doesn't have that space on the ball, and we don't have that time where
Yep.
we can unlock defenses. I think what else? Like finally, in terms of the depth, I think I agree, but I disagree because like just before we're saying okay, like oh look at our subs, our bench is strong. You know what I mean? But then
Yeah.
it's the lack of trust in the players and like you know what I mean. I thought like Xerxes, like whatever, he hasn't been playing to be showing that like he should play or he shouldn't play. So I think like he could have came in and like held the ball against these like defenses, and it's okay for Shesko and Cunha and then Boom. I think all three of them were underwhelming, so it's
Yeah.
okay to sub them out. But I mean, what else? Like, look, I understand like where we are, and it's not a bad point to take. And Elliot Anderson is the guy, like for sure. Like
Yes. He
you
was
know
really
after this,
good.
like you want him. You can play him number 6. You can play number 8. Like it's fine. You know
Yeah,
what I
he's
mean?
definitely jumped way to the top of the list for me
Oh my, he
watching that
was
game.
so good, and he's like his defending was surprised me. I thought he's just a good player on defend on the ball, but his defending
Yep.
was like really good. But I think like yeah, like on the left, obviously we know with the holes that we have, so that's a good thing. It's disappointing for me. Like I'm not happy with it because I think we have to have those standards for us. Like like Ruben
Yep.
saying, like we need to have those standards where like a point isn't enough, and we're playing
Yep.
Forest away, and But I think it's just a concern. I didn't think we played well today, to be honest,
Yeah,
at
me
all.
too.
Like
Yeah.
it's not. It's the players. Okay, we got second best to everything, but it's also for me on the manager too because I like Ruben, but both our goals were set pieces. Where's the clear cut open chances? You know what I mean? Like we're okay. I liked some of the build up, but then when we're like shooting it long ball and you have Bruno and Casemiro for the second balls, and I don't think we were in control of that game to create the chances, and that's concerning for me. But I mean, I mean, 10 points out of 12. It's not horrible. I think
Yeah.
we can do better. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Hopefully next game we win. I appreciate you, and I mean, I hope we can get a left winger. In the January.
I think that would help with a lot of that chance creation
Big time
because
because yeah, I mean,
it's all one sided, and when it gets shut down, we run out of options.
exactly. And I think like one last thing is, um, now like we realize how one-sided we are. Like in attacking, like Forest crowd that right side, and we're like, oh
Yep.
shit, like Ahmad, you're triple teamed right now. What are we gonna do? And in attack too, like that the first goal where Gibbs White wins the header over Ahmad. I think it's the same thing. The goals we conceded were all obviously like they're switches off in defense. That's horrible. That's not like something tactical. You know what I mean? But I think the
Yep.
tactical thing is where we should have created more clear cut chances because all our attackers who cost whatever how much they cost, they didn't look good. But yeah, I mean, hopefully in tough Spurs, we can, we can push on. Thanks,
Yeah,
James.
appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
All right.
All right, Kachi, how you doing, my friend?
Hey James,
Yes, good to speak
nice
with
to
you
see you
again.
again this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This was a kind of a frustrating game. Coming into it, this was basically Sean Dyche. This is a Sean Dyche team. It was
Yep.
not an Postecoglou team. Yeah, so I think first things first, our attitude in the game. This was a game of it's not going to be clean. It's going to be all about duels 24/7, and we didn't
Yep.
match up to them.
Yep.
Most of these teams, it's not even like Liverpool away where they're coming to play with the quality. It's just mostly 80% about the intensity in all the actions. And I don't think we're intense. It was kind of a drop off today from us. I don't know why. I think most of the reason why was Sesko had a bad game today. Just today, but he had a bad game today.
Yeah.
And I think
just
that
today.
really, you can really see he's a good player, good talent, and he's still getting used to the league. So it's quite normal. That's why we went a bit early for him, because we want to, let me say, buy the dip, buy the early stocks in Sesko. So I think today he was kind of, his passes were not clean, his touches were a bit poor. And I think in games like this, you really need your striker to, hold the ball more. Play it off to
drag
help
some
out
defenders, help everybody
exactly.
get some space because they're crowding everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, help Mbeumo, help Sesko, keep it tight and keep it tight and neat. And that was, I was surprised Xerxes didn't come on, to be honest, though, even if it was for like 10 minutes. Do you think there's something going on between Xerxes?
Yeah.
I don't know why. That was very weird.
It was a little look. I looked at it and I was like, because when I looked beforehand, like Prison said, I said, the bench does look decent, but when you look at we chasing a goal, you're looking going, who are we bringing on?
I don't really think I would have brought Xerxes on to chase a goal, just like to keep like the ball flowing, because the ball didn't stick.
It felt like maybe if we had kept the 1-0, we would have been like the right guy to come on, get us in, keep the game calm in the second half, 60 minutes or something. That's kind of how I see Xerxes, and the way that he's used him is like, because look at how he brought him on against Brighton. We're up multiple goals at that time. You know what I mean? Whereas he's like, all right, he's a guy who'll make the ball stick, keep it, hold the possession, keep it out of the danger areas. We're not trying to go crazy. He's big and tall. And I feel like the fact that it was chasing the game at that point and we're down 2-1, he's like, who am I going to bring on who's going to go score? Who's going to go get a goal? Well, my odds are hope Ahmad, Mbeumo, Cunha, or Sesko kind of get going or bring someone on. And obviously his feeling was one of them will get going, or multiple of them have a better chance of turning it up, than someone. Like, we always think of players like having a bad game and think, well, they're having a bad game, get them off. But then you look at like Ahmad, bad game, but then he could have had 2 goals by the end of it. You know what I mean? And I think that when you have the quality of these players, he's thinking, I'd rather trust their quality. Maybe they'll do something more than I think the sub is going to do something in that circumstance. And it's an up, it's hard to know the right answer with that.
And I think also one thing in grounds like this, we really needed the space to open up. I think Dalot left wing back doesn't allow us, even maximize the wing backs in this fourth, because even affects Cunha's game. Cunha doesn't now have because Dalot comes on the inside, where Cunha likes to work best in the pocket, he can't really operate there properly because he doesn't have anyone outline to stretch the defense. And in a tight game like this, you really need all the zones to be occupied on the pitch. And that
I completely agree with defense.
That. And it wasn't helping a bit. And Dorgu was okay. He was better today than he was at Brighton when he came on. I think he was decent today and he helped us, even if it wasn't much. I think if we don't, once these guys go for AFCON, because of the way specific this team is set up to be for the wing backs, I don't know how we're going to cope without, even if I know Ineos don't want to, even if they don't get a premium option in January, we still need a body at least, like something.
Yeah.
We need something.
Yeah. I agree. We need somebody. We need somebody. But I completely agree with that point on Dalot. I said it in the pre-match thing yesterday in my preview and such, that I really wanted Dorgu to play because I thought we're really going to need to move them wide. You can see they were so densely compact on especially on our right, around our right side, and the left. There's acres of room and there's nobody
No
occupying
quality.
it, and you're just
No
going,
quality.
we're not going to get
Yeah.
anything out of that.
Yeah. I also think today I saw like the kind of disadvantages of Casemiro. He's aging, he's been okay, but industrious games like this against Elliot Anderson, who was good by the way also. Casemiro wasn't that, dynamic. Even I also have to commend Mbeumo on the defensive side. A lot of times I saw Mbeumo plugging into the midfield because we're getting kind of, overrun in there, trying to help Casemiro anytime, our midfield was getting kind of like run over, and Mbeumo like helped plug the holes in there most of the time. And yeah, it was really, I'm not really angry at the results. Thank God we drew, because if we lost this game, I'm really angry.
If we lost, we'd be probably mad.
Yeah,
the draw was
because
good. Like, we come back from going down, get the point. Could have got better chances to win at the end than, so I feel a little better about it. Like, we're starting to turn those momentum moments back in our favor rather than just collapsing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. That's a good sign, but it's still frustrating.
Yeah, because if to concede those 2 goals in space of 2 to 3 minutes, that's not so non-professional. You can't be doing that. We can't. And you see, those things are the things I'm most worried about. Not even anything else in the performances. Those specific instances where you just switch off, and then because it's a results case, it's a results-based business. So you can't switch off in those instances and lead directly to goals. I don't know whether it's the or Euro that that second goal was just, or the first one, it was so catastrophic. I don't even know if it was when Euro that switched off or something like that. But you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that.
Yep. Getting a draw after a game like this, I'll take it right now.
Result,
hopefully, again, it's like that graph of like, it goes up and down. As long as it's not going as bad as it was before, and the next one is, and you keep trending the right way, I'm gonna ride. I'm okay.
And that's why I don't want this idea of us sending us this Champions League stuff out in the air, because it's gonna now be like kind of a disappointment that we don't get it. That's why I don't want people to sound those horns too much. It's too early for that yet.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't want to put any Champions top 4 hopes in the air yet, so that let's say we get Europa and we could have made Champions League when our squad isn't that's equipped for it. We don't have a deep enough squad for that. Things like this.
Yeah. I hear you. And I think we could get into the top 5, but again, a lot of it has to do with the fact that the rest of the league is not that strong this year. And
I think teams like Newcastle and Aston Villa, who have set up their squads from like previous seasons, are going to start rising up, climbing up the table now. So I don't know, but they have Europe too. So I just hope that we, but I think it's okay. Draw is not bad. Let's hopefully next week we can do something to Tottenham. I don't really know if we're gonna win though.
Yeah,
we're playing away. Yeah,
we surprise. We play away. We surprise. It's another one of. It's really funny because we had like Liverpool, we haven't beat away in ages. Brighton, we haven't beat away in ages. Forest, we haven't beat away in ages. And now Spurs, that we lost 4 times last year. Like, it's back-to-back all these games where we've been really bad against these teams recently. But we've got 10 points. So out of the last... Okay. So we'll see. I
feel next week is going to be an easier game than this game, though.
Yeah.
I feel it's going to be much easier, much better circumstances for us to play than this game.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, okay, buddy?
You too, James. Have a nice.
All right, Knife, I'll bring you on for just a second here, and we got to go, okay? Because I'm running out of time, but I'll bring you on. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just don't want to be the guy that runs away when we don't win. So
that's okay.
I mean, Ten Hag used to say something. I know nobody likes Ten Hag anymore. He said, if you cannot win the game, don't lose the game. So we didn't lose the game.
And that's fair.
Which is okay. Fair. Our away form has been bad for a long time now. So I think that's just, even Amorim said it during the press conference. He wants that same intensity, but we still can't get it for some reason. And I know the more we win, the better it gets. So I'm so glad the fan base didn't melt down today. Which was what I was worried about if we would have lost that game. And like you said, last season we'll have lost that game. But I just when Amorim first came to the team, he used to make a lot of substitutions. And it was so sharp with it. But now it's just, I think he's afraid because he doesn't know he's gonna get from the team. But he just needs to be a little more brave with the players on the bench. Just trust in them a little bit, a little bit. Like today, I would have loved to see Zexi. This was a game for Zexi to come in and hold the ball so that Cunha and Mbeumo could run ahead.
So Amarim gave an interesting answer, by the way, since we were last talking about it, because he said, like, what he said here, I'm trying to find the quote again because I was just reading it. He says, look, changing the players doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be better. And he said, Josh is a bit like Cunha and playing between the lines. If you look at the game, we needed a guy in the box, and Ben is the best for that. Sometimes it's a question of characteristics, and the players know that. And I think he was basically just saying, like, he just felt, he basically said he thought it would be better, that there was more chance of those players getting somewhere and that we were starting to get some momentum than making a change. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Well, overall, we'll go again next week.
We go again.
But I want to see Dogu play more, because when he came in today, it was good. It was good.
Yes.
Crosses was coming in. With Dalot, he has to cut back. He has to cut back to look up, and he doesn't even like crossing most of the time. So I think
Dorgu's got to play. Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to go back in the team. Thanks for all you do again. Next week.
Appreciate it. All righty. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, guys. Thank you all for hanging out today. Tougher one, but we'll get through it. We'll let this one go. We'll move on to next week. Okay, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow and through the week. Have a good one, everybody. Goodbye.